drove 2 hours to Tucson. I'm on my way home. I found a Dana 60 out of a 2004 F-250, pretty much same truck as this. And it had a Dana 60 front end. The guy was getting rid of it. He's already stripped it clean. Him and his wife, I guess it's a project that they were planning to do together, and plans changed. So they already stripped it clean. They threw out some crap like the ball joints, the brake pads, the rotors. You know, who cares? I'm going to buy them new anyway. Even if they had them, I'd put new ones in. So I'm on my way home. Got an hour and a half to go still. Just driving through the desert. Sun's starting to set. And yeah, pretty excited to get this axle built. I need to find a rear. So if you know of somebody with a Dana 60 rear out of a newer truck, 1999 or newer, I think, for the wheelbase, let me know down in the comments below, because I'm going to need a matching set, right? I know a lot of people do the 14 bolt in the rear. I want to keep a Dana 60. It's easy, it's simple. I can remember they're both Dana 60s that way. Plus the wheelbase will match, which is pretty nice. Not only will the wheelbase match, but my lug pattern will match. So I can buy the 4 of the same rims without having to buy spacers or adapters or anything. So that's where we're at, guys. So in the morning, I'm going to finish the head gasket replacement on the Jeep. Right now we got everything torn apart, put the head gasket back on and the head on.
Watch out, vehicle on shoulder ahead.
GPS. So we got the cylinder head, the gasket on. Now we got to do the valve cover tomorrow, and then the water pump and the radiator hose and all that good stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be there. So Monday, so this week Monday, today's Friday, I went to Tucson. So I drove about 2 hours. I was actually closer to 2 hours and 10 minutes to get a front axle. It's a Dana 60, supposedly out of a 2004. So it has the shorter wheelbase and I guess the wider turning radius, but I mean, it is what it is. So I picked up that, drove 2 hours. I've been looking and looking and looking for a rear axle. Everybody wants like $800 to $1,200, which is ridiculous. All these ads have been posted for months. And like I'll message them saying, hey, how willing are you to negotiate? Your ad's been posted for forever. Like, oh no, this is the going rate. It's only the going rate if it's going. If it's sitting there, that's not the going rate. So I mean, either one, you list it for a price that nobody wants and you keep the part, or you list it for a price that people want to pay and you get rid of the part. And that's up to the seller, 100% up to the seller. So it is what it is. But I'm not paying that much. And so I got the front axle for, it was
approaching a railroad crossing.
So I got the front axle for $300. I think I paid him $280 total. I don't remember. Might have been no, it's $300. There's $300 flat. I paid him $300 flat. Got everything that was usable out of the axle: the shafts, the knuckles, the calipers, and all that. Which the calipers, one of them needs to be replaced. The other one's probably good after you clean up the rust. But got all that for $300. And all these people I haven't posted for 800 plus. So I've been looking. I found a couple of rears, but they were all out of newer model trucks for decent prices. A couple of them, you know, 300, 400, 500 bucks. And I kept messaging them, and I was trying to decide if I wanted the wider axle in the rear. The problem with that is the wider axle in the rear. If your axles are wider, shorter or wider, front and back, either one, you deal with it. Which, if your rear is narrower than your front, that's actually decent, because that allows you to turn even sharper, because there's less something to drag, I guess. So you can turn sharper with a narrower rear end. But I got the already narrower front end, so I don't want to go wider. But there's ways around it. So it's a few inches. Oh shoot, I gotta go bank right here and get some money. So there's a few ways around it. You can either put spacers up front to match your rear, or you could potentially buy 2 different sets of rims, same rim, just different offset. So you get less of an offset up front, more of an offset in the back, or vice versa, whatever way it goes. So there's a couple ways around it. And I agreed to go meet this guy in Scottsdale this last night. And I'm like, hey, I'll come get it. I'll just work with the offsets. And I changed my mind because I found somebody posted while I was chatting with that guy in one of the Facebook groups that he was parting out in 03 and it just dropped. So I messaged him like immediately. I'm like, hey, you got the rear axle? He's like, yep. I'm like, how much? He's like, this much. I'm like, I'll pay that much. It's another $300. So now I'm getting the front axle for $300 with all the usable parts, and I'm getting the rear axle for $300, all usable parts. So I'm in $600 for axles right now. If I had paid what these other weirdos are asking on OfferUp and Facebook and eBay for, shoot, some of them they want $400 just.
Turn right, then turn right.
Stupid GPS. Some of them they want $400 just for the two.
Turn right, then turn right on North Gansel Road.
That's just ridiculous to me. So I'm happy. I'm going up. I'm going to Payson, which is again an hour and 45-minute drive. But
turn right, then turn right.
I'm gonna have to finish this in a minute. Let me get some money. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, had to get fuel, had to get money, had to pull out a couple $100 for so I could pay this guy for the axle. GPS yelling at me there, but should be straight back on now. So anyway, like I was saying, if you want to sell your stuff, don't pull out in front of me, stupid minivan. If you want to sell your stuff, price it competitively. So when you're looking, and I see this with vehicles all the time too, people scroll through OfferUp, Facebook, whatever, and they'll say, hey, this same car that I'm trying to sell is listed for $12,000. I can list mine for $12,000. You can list it for whatever you want, but the next guy that wants to get rid of it that posts this for $8,000 is going to sell his. The next guy that wants to get rid of his that posted for $8,000 is going to get rid of his, and you're going to be stuck with yours. It's just how the market works, guys. So anywho, not really a rant, kind of educational, I guess, expectational, I don't know. So people like me, I'm not spending an extra $500. Like if I just paid what people wanted on OfferUp and Facebook and eBay, I'd be spending almost $2,000, at least $1,600 for these axles, man. It's dumb, but anyway, to each their own. I'm excited. I'm gonna go pick up this axle. I've just filmed a whole bunch of video because I've got to drive for 2 hours, and probably not gonna use any of it. But sewer smell. But yeah, so I'm excited. Gonna go pick up this axle. I will then have 2 axles I can start building little by little. It's gonna be a long time before those axles make it under the Jeep because, I mean, there's a lot of money still to be spent. I need to truss both front and rear. I'm gonna have to replace a couple parts, you know, caliper here, this, that, there, buy rotors, buy brakes. I'm gonna have to buy new brake lines. I'm probably gonna have to buy, I don't really want to run, in fact I don't think I can run the Jeep tie rods. I think I'm gonna have to use the Ford tie rods, which means I'm gonna have to buy all the tie rods. Before I put the axles under the Jeep, I want to put some frame stiffeners on the Jeep. So that'll become, and then once the axles are ready to go under the Jeep, I also need to be ready to put some long arms on and lifted coils. And of course, at that point, if I'm doing, I don't know, maybe a 5.5 inch lift so I can put 37s on, I'm also going to want the tires available to me so that I can, it's a nice 7.3. I'm also going to need to have tires ready and available to put on, otherwise it's just going to look awkward. So there's a lot of money to be spent before I get the axles under the Jeep, but there's things I can do in the meantime. So like front and rear bumpers I can go ahead and build as I'm working on the axles. I can do the rock sliders on the Jeep. I can do the frame stiffeners on the Jeep. I can do all that while waiting to get the axles under the Jeep. So we're not stalling production or progress. We're just, I had to get the axles first because, well, now that I know what my width is on the axles and I know what my bolt pattern is on the hubs, it makes it way easier. I can go buy rims. I can figure out my offset on the rims. I can buy the rims I want with the right lug pattern. I can buy them whether they're hub-centric or lug-centric, and which Ford is hub-centric on these years. So, I mean, I had to know, you got to start with the axles and then build everything around it. I don't know that you have to, but that's the way I want to. So, now that I got those, which I don't have this one yet, but I should within a couple hours. And yeah, we can get started. So, thanks for watching, guys. Keep on watching. Alright, guys, here we are again. You're going to notice a theme. where I live, everywhere I go, I have to drive. So on Monday, all this same week, on Monday I drove 2 hours one way to go to Tucson to get the front axle. On Friday, I drove an hour and a half or so, hour and 45 minutes each way up to Payson to get the rear axle. And now the next morning on Saturday, it's 5 a.m. right now, right on the dot actually, I'm driving an hour and 10 minutes to the other side of Gilbert to get some tires. Well, some rims. They're coming with tires I don't care about, but I'm getting the rims. So there's nice things about living in the urban area away from everybody else, and there's crappy things, and this is one of the crappy things. If you want to do anything anywhere, you have to drive to go to it. So I've spent a lot of time in the truck this week. Not that that's a bad thing. I love driving this truck. And well, yeah, so then even to top it off, so when I get home, I got to work on editing a video. Yeah, lots of driving, always driving, and then I work. Work is exactly an hour from my driveway to my parking spot at work. So it never ends, always driving. But it's worth it. You get a quiet neighborhood, quiet neighbors. In fact, sometimes I think I'm the loudest one on the street. So, yeah. Pick where you live carefully. Make sure you're living where you want to live when you move. Make sure you're okay driving if you're moving out urban, and if you're moving in the city, make sure you can put up with all the bull crap from all the people in the city. So, anywho, I'm driving. So, oh yeah, so these tires. The reason I'm getting these rims is one, they're free. The guy hasn't been able to sell them, probably because they're super ugly. But I don't care about the ugly thing on the. Well, I care, okay, but the ugliness on the Jeep is a secondary care, not a primary care. My primary care is getting some rims, and these are 17-inch, so they'll fit on the Super Duties. Technically, 16-inch fit on the Super Duties just fine, but 17 just gives you a little bit more room between the caliper and the rim for weights if you need them. And with big tires, I'll probably need them. So, anywho. They're very flat on the outside. They're not offset, so the tire's not sticking out from the hub a lot. From what I can tell in the picture, the guy has no information other than bolt pattern and tire size that's on them, which tires I don't care about. They're going to be trashed. So, but ideally, because the axle's going to be wider than stock, and like my brother told me, I want to be able to still fit on the skinny trails. So the idea between this tire is, even though the axle's wider, it's still going to tuck that tire back into the Jeep a little bit. So I think I'm still going to end up sticking out about 2 inches more than stock. And then if I get a wide tire like a 12.5, I'll be probably 3, maybe even 4 inches outside of stock ride. And I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'd be okay with probably 6 inches outside of stock, just because I like that look. But I would also prefer to keep this somewhat skinny. So, and either way, these rims are free. So if they don't work out, I can just, sell them for $100 probably, and make some money on it. So, anywho, pretty excited. It's been a good week. It's been a very productive week as far as buying parts, used anyway. Anywho, I got some more driving to do, but I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, guys, so we got the tires. Got the axles. Let me show you what you got, and then I'll explain a possible problem, and we're going to verify that it is not indeed a problem. But let's show you what we got. So we got a Dana 60 front. This came off of a 2004 F250, which is the exact same as my truck. I like that because then parts are interchangeable and I don't have to remember 4 different types of axles. I can remember that it's the same as the truck. There we go, zoom me out. So I got that. It's missing some things, doesn't have the diff cover. I'm gonna have to buy ball joints, I'm gonna have to buy brake pads, but it does have the shafts. I'm gonna need new seals, new U-joints, just because I might as well put in new. It's got the stock hubs. I'll probably upgrade these to some Warns or something. It came with the bearings. The bearings seem good. the hub assemblies. The knuckles seem good. He jaggered up when he took out the ball joints. He kind of jaggered up this edges right here, but I think I can smooth those out. And then it's got the carrier pinion and all that stuff down there, which is going to be changed anyway for new gears. So, but we got that. So then we got the rear axle. So I put the old truck tires. These are the old truck tires, and because this is the exact same axle as what's on my F250, my old truck tires fit perfect. This is from a 2003 F250. I got some grease on my nickel. So it should fit. I mean, it's the exact same axle. It's the Sterling 10.5 that's on my F250, which means, again, parts are interchangeable, and I don't have to do a whole lot of converting crap and thinking about stuff. So this is a complete axle. This one has the brakes, the rotors, everything on it. I have no idea what kind of condition. I'll most likely replace them just to replace them. But that's the rear axle. Again, it's a Sterling 10.5. And I know that because one, the truck it came out of, and two, it's got the 12 bolts on the diff. So then what we got this morning is these bad boys. So these, I took one of the hubs from that axle with me to verify the bore, and this is a perfect fit for those hubs. So the only concern I don't care about the tires. The tires are trashed anyway. All I wanted was the rims, and I got them for free. So the thing with the rims is there's hardly any offset, which I like. So the thing with the offset, or having them stick out too far from your Jeep, is you widen the stance a lot. So this axle's already going to widen my stance by about 4 inches, give or take, which isn't significant. But then I'm going to put some 12.5 inch wide tires, maybe 13.5, probably 12.5. That's going to widen your stance another inch or so. So by having these rims where they're not really offset or sticking out, this will kind of help with my track width. It'll help keep it a little bit more narrow, which is beneficial because you can fit on more narrow trails. Essentially, the mirrors are going to be the widest part of the Jeep, and then the tires. And if the tires are the widest part of the Jeep, you need the tires on the trail, and if the trail's skinny, then you're kind of screwed. So hopefully this will work. One thing I'm concerned about, and I don't think I need to be, because obviously these came off of an F250, but the one thing I'm concerned about is clearance, because there's not really offset. I mean, this is there's no pushing the rim back from the center or the edge of the rim. I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. I don't. So the only thing I'm really concerned about potentially being is clearancing with the caliper, especially up on front, because it sticks out a little bit. So I'm thinking I'm going to go take a wheel off of the F250 out front, stick this on just to make sure there's no clearance issues. So I'm going to do that. I don't have to do it on the back of the F250 because I'll just throw one on this axle. But that's where we're at, and that's what I'm going to try to do right now. And that'll give you an idea what it's going to somewhat look like. That's a very skewed idea, but that's what the rim looks like. It's ugly. I'm not a fan of how it looks, but it's still better than the Jeep look. I don't understand. That's like a very soccer momish look. At least this looks a little bit better. A little bit. So unfortunately, it doesn't quite fit. The good news is I can probably trim. So once this goes on the Jeep, I could probably trim that. Or I need to get some different rims, because that's definitely going to be a problem.